Did you know that the Murdaugh family has been at the center of one of the most shocking murder cases in recent history? A family that once represented power, privilege, and legal dominance in South Carolina has been thrust into the spotlight for a chilling and brutal double homicide that has left a community reeling and the nation captivated. The deaths of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh are not just a tragic loss but the beginning of a dark saga filled with secrets, scandal, and mystery. Tonight, on Crime Scene Confidential, we take you deep into the heart of the Murdaugh family murders, to unravel the story that continues to shock and puzzle investigators and the public alike. This story is about more than just a crime. It's about legacy, power, justice, and how a family's darkest secrets can unravel in the most devastating way. In this episode, we will take you step by step through the Murdaugh family murders, a case that has gripped the nation's attention and exposed uncomfortable truths about wealth, influence, and the fragility of reputation. From the first 911 calls reporting the shootings at the family's hunting lodge to the complex investigations, autopsy reports, and courtroom drama, we will piece together what is known, what remains uncertain, and what the future holds for a family whose name was once synonymous with power in South Carolina's Low Country. The Murdaughs have long held a near monopoly over local legal offices, with 3 generations of men serving as solicitors or chief prosecutors in the region, but their influence has now been overshadowed by the tragedy and the controversies that followed. What really happened to Maggie and Paul? And who is responsible for the horrific events that have shattered this family's legacy? The answers are anything but straightforward. At the center of this tale is a horrifying double murder that rocked the small community of Islandton, South Carolina, and sent shockwaves through a legal system long influenced by the Murdaugh family's presence. On June 7, 2021, Maggie Murdaugh, the matriarch of the family, and her 22-year-old son Paul were found shot to death at the family's remote hunting lodge, a place that had long been a retreat for the Murdaugh clan. The scene was grim and unsettling, as the bodies were discovered by a family friend, setting off a frantic emergency response and a sprawling investigation. The tragedy left neighbors, friends, and colleagues in disbelief. How could this powerful family, known for its influence and reach, become victims of such a brutal crime? And just as importantly, who had the motive and means to carry out such an act? To fully grasp the significance of this crime, we must first understand the Murdaugh family's background, a legacy of legal dominance stretching back nearly a century in South Carolina. The family's law firm was a cornerstone of the local legal landscape, with 3 generations serving as prosecutors in the 14th Judicial Circuit, which covers much of the Low Country. Their influence was so deeply entrenched that the family was often seen as untouchable, both in court and in social circles. However, beneath this polished exterior, the Murdaughs were beginning to face mounting troubles that hinted at a fractured family and growing tensions. Paul Murdaugh himself was at the center of a highly publicized boating accident in 2019, which resulted in the death of a young woman named Mallory Beach. Paul was charged with boating under the influence and negligent homicide, but questions about the handling of the case and whether the family's stature influenced the investigation quickly arose, casting a shadow of doubt and suspicion over the proceedings. Adding to the complexity, Maggie Murdaugh had reportedly been dealing with personal struggles and was seen in emotional distress in the weeks leading up to her death. Witnesses described tense arguments between mother and son, fueling speculation about internal family conflicts. Meanwhile, Alex Murdaugh, the family patriarch and the last Murdaugh to serve as solicitor in the local circuit, was entangled in a series of increasingly bizarre and troubling incidents. Just months before the murders, Alex survived a strange shooting incident that raised eyebrows across the state. The details of that shooting remain murky, with conflicting reports and ongoing investigations suggesting possible attempts to stage his own death to escape mounting financial and legal pressures. Alex was also accused of embezzlement and insurance fraud, allegations that rocked the family's once solid foundation and led to intense media scrutiny. As investigators peeled back layers of the family's complicated past, a tangled web of potential motives, cover-ups, and betrayals began to emerge. The family's immense wealth, their control over legal proceedings, and the apparent unraveling of their personal lives created fertile ground for suspicion and speculation. Theories ranged from a family feud gone horribly wrong to a sinister plot driven by desperation and greed. But as the evidence was carefully examined, It became clear that this was not a simple case of domestic violence or revenge. Forensic analysis revealed that Maggie and Paul were shot with a high-powered rifle, and the precise nature of the crime scene suggested a premeditated attack rather than a spontaneous act of violence. The investigation reached a critical turning point when attention shifted firmly to Alex Murdaugh himself. Amid growing financial troubles and accusations of fraud, prosecutors charged Alex with orchestrating the murders of his wife and son. The arrest sent shockwaves through the community and the nation, painting a disturbing portrait of a man allegedly willing to destroy his own family to cover up his misdeeds and secure financial gain. Court proceedings quickly became a media spectacle, revealing startling details of Alex's double life: a man deeply in debt, involved in schemes to collect millions through staged accidents and false insurance claims. It appeared that the Murdaugh family's empire was crumbling from within, and the murders were only the beginning of a much larger scandal. The courtroom drama has been intense and unrelenting, with each hearing uncovering new twists and layers of deception. Witnesses, forensic experts, and financial investigators have brought to light evidence suggesting a pattern of manipulation and betrayal that extends beyond the murders. The case has prompted widespread debate about privilege and accountability in the justice system, exposing how power can sometimes shield individuals from scrutiny until catastrophic consequences force the truth into the light. The Murdaugh family murders have become a symbol of the dangerous intersection of wealth, influence, and impunity, raising difficult questions about the real cost of unchecked power. In summary, the tragedy of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh shines a harsh light on a family once revered and feared for their legal dominance. Their deaths have unveiled a grim narrative of corruption, desperation, and violence that continues to unravel with every new revelation. This case serves as a stark reminder that beneath the veneer of prestige and power can lie secrets so dark and destructive that even the closest families can be torn apart in the most horrific ways. Many questions remain unanswered, and the quest for justice is far from over. If you found this exploration of the Murdaugh family murders compelling, please check out our other deep dives into high-profile crime cases. We invite you to share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. What do you believe really happened that night? Who do you think holds the key to unlocking the full truth? Your insights matter to us. But this story does not end here. In Part 2 of Crime Scene Confidential, delving into the Murdaugh family murders, we will explore the bizarre and mysterious shooting incident involving Alex Murdaugh, a case that has confounded investigators and raised chilling questions about deception and desperation. We'll also uncover the financial crimes that have shaken the family's empire to its core and examine how this saga has exposed systemic flaws in the South Carolina justice system. The deeper we dig, the more complex and chilling the truth becomes. Stay tuned for the next episode, because the unraveling of the Murdaugh family's secrets is far from over, and what comes next will shock you. The story of the Murdaugh family murders only deepens as we move beyond the tragic deaths of Maggie and Paul. In Part 1, we uncovered a family dynasty riddled with power, privilege, and dark secrets. Now, in Part 2 of Crime Scene Confidential, we dive into the baffling shooting incident involving Alex Murdaugh, the family patriarch whose life seems to unravel with every passing revelation. We also expose the massive financial crimes that have not only threatened the Murdaugh legacy but have sent shockwaves through the entire South Carolina justice system. What you're about to hear is a story of desperation, deceit, and a web of lies so tangled it may take years to fully unravel. Just months before the murders of his wife and son, Alex Murdaugh was involved in a shooting incident so strange it raised immediate suspicion. On September 4, 2021, Alex was found shot in the head on a rural roadside. The circumstances of the shooting were confusing. Alex claimed he had been attacked in a hit-and-run style shooting while changing a tire. But investigators were puzzled by inconsistencies in his story. No solid evidence of another vehicle involved was found, and the location and nature of his wounds didn't fit neatly with a random attack. Some experts suggested the possibility that Alex had staged the shooting himself, a desperate attempt to generate sympathy or perhaps to cover financial troubles. In fact, police later disclosed that Alex had been under significant financial strain and facing multiple lawsuits at the time, including allegations of embezzlement from his own law firm. What's more, investigators uncovered that Alex had taken out a life insurance policy worth millions of dollars shortly before the shooting, adding fuel to the fire of suspicion that the incident was a carefully orchestrated fraud attempt. The insurance payout was intended for his surviving son, Buster Murdaugh, and this raised further questions about Alex's motives and state of mind. This shooting incident marked a turning point, not only in the investigation but in the public's perception of the Murdaugh family. A family once seen as untouchable was now mired in scandal and doubt. While the shooting incident gripped headlines, the financial crimes began to emerge like an iceberg beneath the surface of the murder investigation. Alex Murdaugh was soon accused of siphoning millions from his law firm and personal accounts through fraudulent checks and deceptive schemes. Prosecutors alleged that Alex used his position to enrich himself while leaving his clients and business partners in the dark. The extent of his alleged embezzlement was staggering, involving fake invoices, ghost employees, and false legal settlements. The revelation that a family so deeply entrenched in the legal system could orchestrate such extensive fraud shook the community to its core. How could someone entrusted with upholding the law be exploiting it for personal gain? More disturbing was the allegation that Alex had conspired in insurance fraud, including an incident where his housekeeper's son was allegedly hired to stage a fatal hit-and-run to collect insurance money. This sinister scheme appeared to be part of a broader pattern of deception designed to cover debts and maintain the family's lavish lifestyle. The investigation into these financial crimes opened up a Pandora's box of greed, lies, and betrayal, all intertwined with the tragic murders of Maggie and Paul. As prosecutors pieced together evidence of Alex's financial misconduct, the motive behind the murders gained greater clarity. It appeared that the murders were not only an act of personal violence but also a desperate attempt to hide the unraveling of a corrupt empire. Alex's arrest and charging for the murder of his wife and son was framed within this context, an allegedly calculated move to cover up financial ruin and avoid public disgrace. But the court proceedings have been anything but straightforward. Defense attorneys have argued that Alex is a scapegoat in a larger conspiracy, and they continue to challenge the evidence. The trial has exposed a legal battlefield as complex and fraught with tension as the family drama itself. Media coverage has been relentless, with each hearing peeling back more layers of a family saga that continues to captivate the public imagination. The Murdaugh case has also sparked a broader conversation about systemic failures within the South Carolina justice system. Questions have been raised about the extent to which the family's power protected them from scrutiny for decades and whether justice is truly blind in communities dominated by powerful dynasties. Law enforcement agencies, state officials, and the courts have all faced criticism for their previous handling of the family and the cases connected to them. This case has become a litmus test for accountability in the face of privilege, exposing uncomfortable truths about corruption and impunity. Beyond the courtrooms and headlines, the human toll of this tragedy remains painfully clear. The surviving members of the Murdaugh family, including Buster Murdaugh, continue to grapple with the aftermath. The community mourns the loss of 2 lives while wrestling with the betrayal of trust by a family once revered. The scars left by the murders, the financial deceit, and the courtroom drama run deep, serving as a harsh reminder that power and wealth do not shield anyone from tragedy. As this case unfolds, new developments continue to surface. Investigators are still uncovering evidence, and legal experts anticipate that the full extent of the Murdaugh family's secrets has yet to be revealed. The case is a complex puzzle, with pieces scattered across financial records, forensic reports, and personal testimonies. Each new discovery adds to the tangled narrative and challenges the assumptions about what truly happened. In summary, the second chapter of the Murdaugh family saga reveals a web of mystery far wider than the initial murders alone. The bizarre shooting of Alex Murdaugh, the staggering financial crimes, and the legal battles all paint a picture of desperation and deception at the highest levels. This is not just a story of a family torn apart by violence, it is a cautionary tale about how unchecked power and greed can lead to ruin. If this deep dive into the dark complexities of the Murdaugh case has piqued your interest, be sure to follow Crime Scene Confidential for more updates. We want to hear from you. What do you think about Alex Murdaugh's shooting? Could this incident be the key to understanding the murders? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. Your perspective could shed new light on this baffling case. But the story is far from over. In the next episode, we will reveal explosive new information uncovered by investigators, details that could change the course of the trial and the public's perception forever. We will examine the mysterious disappearance of critical evidence, the role of shadowy figures in the background, and the untold stories from within the Murdaugh family itself. As the case edges closer to trial, tensions rise and new questions emerge. What truths are still being hidden? Who truly pulled the trigger that night at the hunting lodge? And how deep does the corruption run? This is no ordinary murder case. It's a story of power and privilege twisted into something unrecognizable, a tangled web of deceit, greed, and betrayal that has consumed an entire family and shaken a community to its core. Every piece of evidence uncovered seems only to raise more questions. Every revelation pulls back a curtain to reveal darker, more unsettling truths. In this story, the truth itself has become a prize fiercely fought over by forces willing to do anything to claim it, or bury it forever. As we bring this chapter of the Murdaugh family saga to a close, it is crucial to remember that what we have seen so far is only the surface. Beneath lies a deeper, far more complex narrative, one filled with secrets that have yet to come to light. The shadow of suspicion stretches wide, and the lines between victim, perpetrator, and bystander blur in a haze of power, desperation, and manipulation. The question is no longer just who killed Maggie and Paul Murdaugh, but how many are involved, and how deep this darkness truly goes. The legal battles, the financial scandals, the mysterious shootings, and the hidden alliances, each element adds another layer to a story that defies easy answers. And as the dust settles, the families, the community, and the nation are left grappling with a harsh truth: privilege can protect for only so long before it unravels spectacularly. The price of silence and complicity is steep, and for the Murdaugh family, it has been catastrophic. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of the most perplexing and chilling cases of recent times. At Crime Scene Confidential, we remain committed to uncovering the truth, no matter how complex or unsettling. Stay vigilant, stay curious, and remember, in the shadows of power, the truth is often the most dangerous secret of all.